edition of this thing I called Radio One. I am Chris One of the Chris One Radio Group. Hello, Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara says good morning. Glad you can be here. Miss Barbara could be anywhere else in the world. Salute to you too, sir. Glad that you guys can be here. I do appreciate you guys for being here. Man, it's Thursday. Time is running fast. Time is they say time is of the essence. And I definitely agree with that, time being of the essence. And listen, y'all, every time I turn around and look up, it's Thursday. I like watching Empire on Wednesday, not to realize that when the next day comes, it is now Thursday. So this is where we're at. We're at Thursday. Got finished doing my running around. Got finished being at the office doing my running around. Boogieing on over here, man. And I got to talk about something today. And I want to talk about something today because I have this belief, and my belief, is that looks so corny back. What's going on, Johnny D? Hey, what's going on, Johnny? Johnny D, he says, what's up, brother? Preach the knowledge, preach. Okay, I'll do something like that. But I want to talk about something today. And first, I'm going to tell y'all about my beliefs. I got this belief. Been a nerd all my life. I'm constantly generating different ideas. I'm constantly coming up with different analogies, and it helps keeps me balanced. I'm not like the typical person. I don't have 50 million friends, so I have to dig into the pay dirt of knowledge. I'm going to say pay dirt. I'm not going to say the well. I'm going to say pay dirt, because knowledge seems to be dirty because nobody seems to want to deal with knowledge. It seems to be dirty and nobody wants to deal with it. But I have a belief. I'm gonna start things off by saying I have this belief. And this is the belief that I have. I have this belief that life comes to you in quarters. Like any old game. Any old football game, baseball game. Well, baseball comes to you in innings, but innings can also be interpreted as quarters. And innings can be interpreted as quarters because it is a stage. It is a stage of the game. Once that stage is completed, you move on, another stage, so on and so forth. I believe this about life. No one ever told me this, by the way. I'm just sitting around thinking of something nerd to put in the archives. I was just sitting around thinking of something nerd so when I go into my thing, I can say, hey man, but you don't understand. And people say, hey, hey man, what did you come up with that? I gotta keep the nerds proud. I gotta keep us proud. But nonetheless, I believe that life comes at us in quarters. And I believe it to be like this. From age 1 to 20, from age 1 to 20, from age 1 to 20, you're, as I said this before, what's going on in St. I see you. How you doing today, sir? You have this thing where you of course you were born, you're going to school, you're adding to your character, you're building yourself. This is what's being done from ages 1 through 20. I believe from ages 21 through 40, you have applied those things. You know where you're going to be. You know where you're at. You feel your way around. By the age of 40, you should know what works for you, what doesn't. You should, by age 40, you should have at least 8 years in on your career. That's what I believe. From ages 41 through 60, you should be balanced. You should be stabilized. You should now have and start working on, had you not already, from ages 41 through 60. This is the third quarter now. The first quarter was 1 through 20. The second quarter of your life, 21 through 40. The third quarter of your life, 41 through 60, I believe you should start stockpiling for retirement. You should have or own your home. You should be married. Yep, you should be married. And I'm going to say that because, excuse me, one of the foolish and most, so it ranks up there with just stupid.com, is when I hear people say, I'm going to grow old with my kids, or I'm going to grow old with family. Doesn't work like that. But that's another story for another day. A lot of individuals will think that. I just think that because being single in my community, especially with women of color, being single is just the big thing. And I don't need no man. I don't hear no other people say that. I don't hear men saying I don't need. That's another story for another day. Nonetheless, I believe that no one is going to have your best interest in hand like the person that you are married to. And it's something that I'm going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to be talking about boyfriends don't owe you nothing. You can have a baby with your boyfriend. Commitments start at marriage. So I'm going to talk about that later. Commitments start at marriage. I hear a lot of people that don't understand marriage versus somebody you screwing versus a boyfriend versus somebody just a booty call. I'm not understanding how when everything finally falls apart and everybody's ready to go on to then deal with the next person that's going to give them some booty or get some dick from. Now it's, oh well, we got a kid and we got this, and no, you shouldn't. Listen, everything comes in stages, which leads me to the fourth stage. From 61 to 80, you should have done enough in life to live off of. You shouldn't have to work once you hit 60. That is your golden years. That is prime time. If you make it past 80, if you live to be 81 years old, in my humble analysis, you've made it to overtime. Congratulations. So I want to talk about that. Stages in life, stages, relationships. Now talk about stages. What I've noticed is the unfortunates of a lot of people that they expect things based on prior success, based on prior acknowledgement of something or a person, based on past acknowledgments of a person or a thing, and they're not taking into account the stages of the situation that they are in at that time. They expect to be afforded, give me's or skip stages due to the fact of some past entitlements. Okay. So I used the thimble. And this thimble is the appropriate stages in life. Now, the first stage is look like a teenager with a backpack. Third stage look like a man with a business suit on. Fourth stage looks like a man with khakis on and loafers. In the fourth stage is an individual that has a cane. That is so appropriate. So what if we was to take the cane and give it to the teenager? What would you say? What if we were to take the backpack and give it to the gentleman in the third stage? What would you say? We will then look at this situation and say, man, what is that teenage kid doing with a cane? Something must be wrong with them. That's what we would say. If we took the backpack and gave it to the man in the third stage, we would say, damn, I don't know, a little bit too old to be wearing a backpack, Chief. Miss Barbara said, I would have thought that he was handicapped. Yeah. And you would have thought he was handicapped because that is out of the ordinary. It's out of the ordinary. It's out of the ordinary. So let's go into overdrive now. Talking about stages. Here on 98.3.com FM, 7 Cities Radio, broadcasting this thing live. I got multiple streams going, but I brought Unplugged in to check this thing out as well. But this is what I'm talking about today. I am Chris of the Chris One Radio Group, and this is what I'm talking about today here on the 4th of April 2019. I am talking about stages. It's something that I feel as though I need to talk about. It's something that I think people need. And so we're talking about it here today. It's just one of the many things that I just pull out of the hat. Now, y'all know me. Every day I wear a different hat, but this is the one I have on today, and this is what I want to talk about. But listen, y'all know I like to talk about my man, Mr. Jefferson of Jefferson Cafe. He have 2 locations, one in Orange, New Jersey, the other in Montclair, New Jersey. The Orange location is on Day Street. The Montclair location is on Mapes Avenue in Montclair, New Jersey. Get on there and check out, get on over there, and check out Jefferson's Cafe. Jefferson's Cafe, the finest in Southern cuisine. Do you know anybody that needs some tips on health? You know somebody that needs some tips on their financial status? Check out my man, James Lewis, Help Before Wealth. Help Before Wealth will get you straight. Help Before Wealth. Go ahead and set a date with my man, James Lewis, Health Before Wealth. That individuals can get you squared away. He's a big component. He got me on my Dave Ramsey. It's why I paid off $81,000 in debt last year. Y'all seen me like, oh, he don't got that car no more. Oh, he's in that car now. Yup. I went through it, paid things off, got rid of stuff. I still got the other stuff, the hot rods. Don't want to, individuals on this one knows, but on the 7 cities, nobody knows nothing, so I'm not mentioning too much anything. Nonetheless, so check those individuals out. Jefferson Cafe, James Lewis, Help Before Wealth, and hey man, tell them Chris sent you. So I'm talking about the stages in life. Miss Barbara said something that is a very, very Perfect analogy. Miss Barbara said, and I appreciate you for being here, and she's here every day without play. Miss Barbara said, I would have thought that that person was handicapped after I said, what if we would have gave the fourth stage individual with the cane to the first stage individual with the backpack? Miss Barbara, what would you say if I then said, that is the same analogy that you do, handicap yourself, cripple yourself, when you jump a stage, when you throw yourself ahead of your proper teachings and you immaturely go and advance yourself to the next stage of life? What would you say? Because I would say you can go ahead and size that person up for their cane now, because handicap will be about right. Ms. Barbara said, yes, because you're missing a lesson. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. People, I'm gonna go left for a second. You know, I do this from time to time. I'm talking about one topic, and I have to go left because I just want to talk about something. When I was on my other radio format, I called it a Just My Thought, but that was some years ago. So I'm going to say, let me go left for a second, and I always come back. Y'all know that. In the community where I'm from, it's the reason why there's a lot of immaturity running around. It's the reason why, one of the biggest reasons, excuse me, why in the Black community, why individuals we are crippled. The reasons for that is, in the Black community, what I see more times than not is I see people that skip steps. You see 15-year-old girls wanting to be grown, 15-year-old guys wanting to be grown. You see 14 and 15-year-old girls having babies. Once you have a baby, you're now, no matter what, life hurls you to the next stage when in fact you haven't completed that stage of development. So because of that, you are now crippled. You are now crippled. Size that individual up for their cane because they are crippled. People, I sit here today as a 50-year-old man, and I can say I never skipped stages in my life. It's the reason why I am who I am today, and why at 50 years old I'm still open-minded. For individuals that are with me, I've talked about this individual time left me a message and said, and it said, and I quote, "This white person can't teach me nothing. I'm sticking with my people. I'm out." What's going on, X-Men? I see you, sir. That's what they said. This white person can't teach me nothing. Unsubbed, peace. That's what they said. This white person can't teach me nothing. I'm a sub, peace. Like, people, the best people to learn from is your enemies. You know why the best people to learn from is your enemies? The best people to learn from is your enemies because they're not tailoring anything to help you. Everything that they are designing at you and coming at you with is really for your demise. Why do you think I'm here today? Why do I have the life that I have? Why do you think I gurgitate books out? Like, I go to the show and I'm listening to people, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, it took me 4 years to write that book. Oh, and I'm just listening to them. And I'm like, I don't say nothing because I don't want to make these people feel bad. But I do all these things in life. I do everything, and my life is set up the way it is, you know, because I'm still open-minded at 50 years old. People, I'm gonna tell you something. When that individual told me there's nothing this white person can teach me, unsubbed peace, I said, wow, that's a closed-minded individual. And if you can remember the response to this individual, I said, well, you speak English, which is not black. You responded to me in English literature, in English curriculum. That's not black. So you can learn the white way all other times, and then when it's time to be ratchet and be ignorant, now you want to extract what are you talking? You want to extract the white out of your life? I don't know. But one of the things that keeps me relevant at my age is because I stay open-minded. That will help me in my next stage of my life's evolution. When I look back on a lot of issues that young people have, they're all self-inflicted. They haven't gone through life yet. And I'm not sitting here today saying that they shouldn't have issues. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is we cater to a bunch of people, we cater to teens that does nothing but care about what someone else is saying to fit in. I remember when I was a kid, and up until I was 16, only two females got pregnant. There was 2 women that had babies in my neighborhood. Not my block, my neighborhood. And my neighborhood stretched from the next block up was another city. So my neighborhood stretched like 9 blocks down, 3 blocks across was my block. And like 2 females got pregnant. That was it. Now, because the next stage of life seems to be a style or a fad, teen pregnancy is at an all-time high. The worst thing in the world is to date a woman. She's 50 years old and she got daughters and they got kids and they all live together. And it's like, well, you might as well go ahead and propose to your damn kids. That's the worst thing in the world. And as so would it be for a man. We all do things to go to the next stage of our life, whether it be working, whether it be maturity. Maturity is big. But if we talk about, if I can go left again for a second, I'm such a left whore. Let's talk about Nipsey for a second, but 2 minutes. Nipsey was a gang banger, whatever. And then he said, I want to evolve. I want to go to the next stage in my life. But if this is just my opinion, if you are the owner of an establishment and you got people working for you and they say he owned the block, then you shouldn't be the one telling somebody to get from in front of your store. And once again, it wasn't get from in front of my store, please, sir. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't get from in front of my store, please, sir. I'm sure it was get the from in front of you mother you chast I'm sure be a nigga was said plenty of times. I'm positive of it. I'm certain. It was a conflict. Now it's, oh, so you think you're. Well, and actually he is, so he shouldn't have been. The craziest thing that I see at my age is seeing people my age. when what's some things called? Starters, jerseys. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's crazy for me to see that. It's crazy for me to see a middle-aged man that didn't let go. They're still holding on. Still looking for street cred. It's just crazy to me. There are stages in life that you must go through that if you don't achieve those stages, it's history will not give you another crack at it. Time doesn't give you another crack at it. Here's what I mean when I say that. Here's what I mean when I say that. The one thing that just blows my mind more than anything, I got 5 minutes. The one thing that blows my mind more than anything, well, that's not the thing. Trucker said, now it's just my opinion, but when you own something, you do what the F you please. Yeah, I think you missed everything that I said prior to that and after that. So I don't even know how you came up with that logic. Now, when you own something, you do what the F you please. So let me say what I said again, because maybe you didn't hear what I said. When you're transitioning to that higher being, the lower level of life is to let your smaller guy handle that. If you're the owner of something, you should call somebody and say, I'm looking at this guy on the monitor. Tell him to get the hell from in front of here. Because the example that I gave yesterday, gee, let me think. It was only yesterday. So this is the example that I gave yesterday. You won't go into the Microsoft building and Bill Gates will greet you. Hey, yeah, hi, Bill Gates. How can I help you? Wow, this is a big, giant building, man. Wow, man, how many people working here? 8,000. How can I help you, though? Oh, wow, I bet the owner paid a lot for this. Yeah, I did. Oh, you the owner? Yeah. That's honestly, that's low. That's bottom of the barrel thinking by saying that. That's I mean, like you said, it's your opinion, but that's bottom of the barrel thinking. Yeah, that's bottom of the barrel thinking. I have 2 secretaries working in my office. Do you see me in the office all the time? I think the last time I did a video from the office was probably about 2 months ago. Do you see me there? No, you don't. So, I mean, I don't know how you got that mentality, but you know, that's bottom of the barrel thinking. It's not boss thinking at all. But going back to what I was saying, what we got to understand is stages in life. Time will not allow you to try and relive something that has gone away. People, I'm 50 years old. I am 50 years old. If I am at the point now and I meet somebody and they ask me, what do you do for a living? And I got to hit them off with a 5-minute sermon. No. I would never ask a 50-year-old person, what do you do in life? So what do you do? I would never ask them that. Why? You don't have to. You know why? Because listen, this is a facts. We're going a little overtime. If I'm behind on my bills, if my license is suspended, if I wasted my life away, if I thought life was a big joke and I partied my life away, do you think I'm gonna say that? Or when you're around me enough and we go out to eat and I pull out my wallet and there are no credit cards in there or debit cards. There's not, and I just got a bunch of receipts and garbage in my wallet. Or, I got an old flip phone which is nothing wrong with them. I'm just using that for an example right now. I just got, I'm just behind on the times or everything. Nothing in my life is matching up. You called me for a couple of days and my phone didn't I didn't answer. The person is not, you know how it is. The person can't receive calls. Appreciate that. Darkness, I appreciate that contribution to the movement, sir. Thank you so much. I salute you, my man. Thank you. But I told y'all the reason why I brought these rings. I brought platinum and gold because if I ever got low on money, I could pawn it. So I'm looking ahead. Even though I'm good, I'm always thinking ahead, always putting little nuggets in my life so I can always be ahead of the game. And that's where I'm at my age. I save 4 times more than I spend, probably 5 or 6. I'm just being modest. I save. I'm a save money-aholic. I always have been. My living arrangements, they're designed for me. Last year, I paid off $81,000 in debt. I adjusted my spending. I adjusted my living. Everything has been adjusted because it's just me. And I was spending crazy amounts of money every month. Why? What you ask? Okay. The reason why is I was preparing myself for the next stage of my life, which is this year. I turned 50 years old. I'll catch you guys on the next one.